So here are the things you're going to need for the marinating. You're going to need cube steak, and I have almost 2 pounds, and that's because I make enough for leftovers the next day. And it's cube steak, so if I go in a little closer, you can see it kind of has what looks like holes in the steak. This is the type I prefer, only because I feel like in the marinade it gets into the middle of the meat. And you're going to need some extra virgin olive oil, white vinegar, oregano, salt, some garlic, beef broth, and onions. Let's move on to the next step so I can show you how it's put together. In my big bowl, I have my white vinegar. And of course, as always, on the bottom of the video in the description box, I put in the amounts and ingredients. So there's no confusion and too much explanation during the video. So basically all I'm doing here is I'm adding in my amounts of beef broth. Alright, I have my white vinegar in there already. So now I'm going to add in the salt. And this marinade, basically, when you are ready to cook your meat, you're going to dump all of the contents of the bag into a pot. So now this is my olive oil. I know it seems like a lot, and it's because it is, but like I said, this is just the way I do it. I've had, no complaints thus far. So, I forgot to mention you need the Sazon. Sometimes I forget. So basically all you're doing is you're putting this all together, and then you're just going to mix it up with a whisk to make sure everything's fully incorporated. And then you're going to put it in a Ziploc bag with your meat. So we already have the salt in here, and now I'm going to just mince some garlic. And then I will slice some onions. I'll show you what that looks like. So now I'm just going to add in my garlic. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll know that I love garlic, and I use a lot of it in abundance. But you know what? I've never changed the recipe when I'm serving guests. I use the same amount of garlic I normally use. So I'm just going to drop it in the marinade. Now I'm telling you, this is enough for 2 days. And this may look like a lot of meat, but I do want to make it clear that when you cook this, it's going to shrink a lot. So do I need a 2-gallon bag? Probably not. I just like to be safe. So if you feel comfortable with the 1 gallon, you don't necessarily need this, okay? I have all of it in the bag. So as you can see, can you see why I use a 2-gallon bag, okay? So perhaps, if you don't have them, you should go out and buy them. Because when you lie it down in the refrigerator, it kind of gives it, some room to breathe, okay? So you're just going to get some of the onions moved back here. And then what you're going to do is this. So if you're marinating it for 4 hours, after 2, you would flip it. And then kind of massage it. Not gently. Be rough with it. If you're marinating it overnight or, for 2 days, I'd probably flip it like every 12 hours. Just try not to forget. So now what I did was I removed the meat with the marinade from the Ziploc bag, and I've put the entire contents of the bag inside of a big aluminum pot. It's a caldero, so if you don't have one, you can just use a really big pot, a heavy bottom pot. And I'm just going to bring it to a boil, and I just put it in there. So it's not anywhere near being close to a boil, but I bring it to a boil, and then I cut it to about a low. So if you see what's going on here, it's up to a boil, and if you look closer, this stuff right here you can skim out because it's all oil mixing with the fat, so you can skim it out. Okay, and when you start getting low on liquid, just continue adding water, or equal parts broth, beef broth, and water, because you want the meat to cook in liquid, obviously, to become tender. So you can see here my liquid is getting thick. It's thickening up. What I'm going to do is because my meat isn't tender enough yet, I'm going to add in some more liquid just until it covers all of the meat. So I'm going to continue to add it till it covers the meat. I'm also going to scrape the bottom to get all of the flavoring off of there and mix it around into the pot. You keep doing this. Just keep adding in liquid. You know, either both broth and water mixed, or just water, just broth, your choice. Be mindful that if you're using just broth, it's going to be pretty salty. If you keep doing this, let's say 2 or 3 times, you taste your marinade and it lost, you know, some of its flavor from continuing to add liquid, just season it with some sazon or adobo. And keep adding your liquid, because you rather have your meat tender and then add in your seasoning, because it's going to be boiling, and it's not like it's too late to season at this point, because it's not. Another thing is, people are probably wondering, well, oh my god, that's the marinade, and you're going to use it to, you know, accompany your meat. Yes, because it's already boiled through. There's no worry about any kind of contamination or food poisoning, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so keep doing that until your meat is tender. So now I wanted to put this back on because I want to show you that I've added extra liquid to cover my meat. I also like to include some sauce in mine. You don't have to do it if you don't want it, but I like to have it more sauce-based sometimes, you know. You don't have to include the sauce in yours if you don't, because there's just quite enough liquid in there already. But, you know, it's only, I believe, let's see, the can is 8 ounces, and I had 6 ounces in there. So I put in about 6 ounces of Goya tomato sauce. You can use any plain tomato sauce, and I just mix it in with the liquid and meat. I bring it back to a hard boil, and then I'll put it back down to like a medium-low. Alright, so this is what it looks like. You're really going to enjoy this recipe. It's easier than it looks, and you're going to keep it in your rotation because you're just going to fall in love with it. So you'd serve it with some white rice and fried plantains. I added in a little extra onions on mine at the end that I sauteed in the pot because I love onions. And if you like the recipe as much as I did, click like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to watch my other videos. I have several videos that you may also fall in love with. Okay, bye!